Hey guys, Michael Symon here. First off, I would really like to thank Showtime for making a donation to my Michael D. Symon Foundation. We're currently working with COVID-19 relief funds for frontline food banks and restaurant employees in need. So Showtime, thank you so much for that. Also, exciting news going on. Billions is getting ready to come back. So I am psyched. I needed Billions. It's one of my favorite shows. So I'm going to make a little bit of food in honor of Billions. I'm going to go Team Chuck a little bit. You know, I like Team X and I like Team Chuck. I love the whole show. But I love when Chuck kind of goes off his diet and carb loads. And I think this is all about comfort right now. So we're going to make a little rosemary and grape focaccia with Parmesan cheese. You could have it with wine, you could have it with a cocktail, you could have it with dinner, you could just have it by itself. So this is good carb-worthy binging. So the first thing that we're gonna do, dough is super easy to make. Now if you can't make the dough, you could go buy pizza dough and still get all these different flavors. It's not gonna be as light and fluffy and crispy as a focaccia, but you'll still get a delicious snack. So I have 2 cups of bread flour here. You could use all-purpose flour too. I like using bread for this. And to that, we have 3 teaspoons of yeast. I'm going to put a cup of warm water in here with the yeast. And we mix this together. You don't want the water to be hot. If the water is hot, it will kill the yeast. I'm using fresh yeast, so it's 3 teaspoons. If you only have dry yeast, which is fine too, you could just use 1 teaspoon. So you need 3 times as much fresh yeast as dry yeast to make this work. If you're having trouble finding yeast and flour right now, call your local pizzeria. They will help you out, I promise. So now we take the yeast, water, and we mix it in with our flour. We don't put any salt in yet. If we put the salt in right now, it will kill the yeast. So we want to get the mixture going first to kind of let that flour be a barrier between the yeast and the salt. Now we could put in I put in about a tablespoon of kosher salt, and we get this all mixed. If you have a stand mixer, you could do this in a stand mixer. The nice thing about this dough though, because it has such a high moisture content in it, it's easy to mix by hand. So you're just gonna get it mixed, and once it all comes together, you can start working it with your hands. And you don't have to work the heck out of this dough like some other doughs. The gluten forms pretty quickly. And once it all comes together, and I continue to mix it, we're gonna let this sit and double in size and proof. You're gonna wanna mix this for about 3-4 minutes by hand, just till all the dough comes together. Then you put it in a warm spot. I like to set it on my stove top. No burners on, obviously. Put some saran wrap over top of it, and I let it double in size. Once it doubles in size, you put it onto a little quarter sheet tray, like so. Now, put a little bit of olive oil on the pan, a little bit of olive oil on top, cover it with saran wrap, put it in your fridge. You could use it about an hour after that, or up to 3 days. So this is something that you could really do ahead, and I actually think the longer it sits, the better it gets, because it ferments and it develops more flavor. So you can see this beautiful dough that has been in my fridge. It's super soft and a little sticky, which is how we want it. I'm just gonna take my fingers and put little dimples in it, going all the way down. And I really olive oiled my pan underneath, about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And now on top of that, I have some grapes. You can put anything on top of this that you want. I'm gonna do grapes, fresh rosemary, and I'm gonna show you guys a cool sea salt trick. So we just split the grapes. I'm gonna use Parmesan to finish this, but blue cheese would also be delicious. So there's a lot of options here. We have some fresh rosemary. We're just gonna strip that. Liberally put that rosemary on, and it's just gonna, as this cooks, the rosemary is gonna release its oil and really flavor this dough. Oh yeah. My grandma would be so happy right now. Are you feeling me, Chuck? How many trays of these would you eat when you're having one of your bad days? Get off that diet. I know you do it. I know you're gonna do it, maybe 2 trays. All right, so there's the rosemary. Now, on top of this, you could put just kosher salt, sea salt, any salt. But something that I like to do, and I feel it's very Billions, is I have sea salt. A little bit of whatever wine you're drinking at the time. So for like 2 parts salt, you're gonna take about 1 part wine, and you're gonna pour it over top of your salt. And just mix this together. And the salt's gonna absorb a little bit of the wine. And then you take the salt and wine mixture, you put it in a pan, and you put this in a 150-degree oven until all the wine evaporates, and then you have wine-flavored salt. So this goes from here, it goes into our oven, very slow oven, 150, 175 degrees till it evaporates. It's gonna take about 45 minutes. And you end up with this. So you have a sea salt that's flavored with wine, which goes great with our focaccia, but you can put this on steak, you can put this on chicken, whatever you want. It's a really great way to infuse wine flavor into the salt, and it just makes it a little fancy. Like this is how Axe would do it, maybe not Paul, but Paul. Chuck likes the better things in life. All right. So now we're gonna take this, hit it with some Parmesan. This goes into a 450, 500 degree oven for about 20-25 minutes so it gets golden on the bottom and golden on top. It's gonna be airy in the center. So I'm gonna place this in the oven on the middle rack, and when it's done, we're gonna have a little feast. All right, Billions, focaccia is about ready. Little Team Chuck focaccia. Look at that, would ya? The grapes, the Parmesan, the rosemary, the red wine salt. Oh, I have a glass of Pinot for you, a little tribute to other times. We are gonna pull out this focaccia. Set it down. See, it's got nice and crunchy. Oh, we just fill up our tray with it. Turn on Billions, drink a little wine, have some focaccia, your favorite cheese. Happy days. Oh, so good. Focaccia is almost going to be as good as the season premiere. Showtime, thank you. Billions, thank you. I will see you all later.